The Max Cinnamon for the 15th. A little chilly out here, I think, for the skips this week. Seen a number of skips with jackets on, and that Carrick Martin looks like he's going with three again, maybe this weekend, certainly in this game. So I would assume probably for the weekend, as there's a mixed doubles event on as well. I think Aaron Sluchinski had some commitments on mixed doubles before he was picked up by the Kui team. I kind of thought might get to see him for the first time, but not today. Nice little shot there by Carrick. A low turn hit for Max. Nicely done. Rolled off to the corner a little bit. Couldn't really go anywhere else but there. So very nicely done. Tyler Tardy on the broom for Carrick. Trying to make the hit and roll back. He'll hit and roll out. So an opportunity for Kenan Wipf to play the peel. Has last rock in this first end. He's not really ready to go at it yet, I guess, and he will take that one off. That one's pretty close to the rings, to be fair, and was pretty dangerous for the Wipf team. Probably going to look to try to blank this end and retain hammer going to the second end when maybe he'll be a little bit more comfortable. Big challenge playing somebody like Kevin Cooey. This team is, I think, at least some of this team is out of the University of Calgary. Not sure if it's an all university team or not, but just trying to read a little bit up on Wipf before, and haven't had a lot of time to find out too much about him. We all know much about Kevin Cooey and his history in the game, and probably about his recent change in team. We went through that a couple weeks ago. Needless to say, Aaron Sluchinski is playing second on this team now, just not right now. Yes, temporarily lost the feed here. We're back. Went dark there for a second or two, but we are back about halfway through this first end. So a little more on the Wipf team. It is a University of Calgary team, University of Calgary Dinos, I believe they are, and they're also the reigning under 21 Canadian champions, having won that in 2024. The New Holland Canadian U21 Championships, where they defeated Kalen McIsaac from my neck of the woods 7-6 in the final game. Pretty straightforward end here, just up and down. It's interesting that in a little interview I was reading on Wipf, it mentions that his favorite shot is a draw shot, and he loves to draw. And if he has a preference, at the end of the day, it's going to be a draw. So it's interesting that in the first end here, we're playing just basically hit after hit after hit, but first end's not the 10th end, and nobody really likes to have to get into a draw game in the first end, usually. Teams do get practice, so it's not completely blind as far as draw weight and such goes, but still, it just takes a little while to get comfortable. So Prix already down the sheet. I don't think there's clocks here this weekend, but I'm not really sure. I haven't seen any. Only done one game so far, and nobody talked about clocks, so I'm assuming there are no clocks. But despite that, Kevin Cooey is down at the other end. They're not known to be a fast player, so clocks sometimes become an issue, but he's kind of got it mastered now and usually can manage it a little bit towards the end. Some guys they just like the way they like to play, and we had a pretty famous curler down here in Nova Scotia named Alan Dara. When clocks became a thing, everybody said, "Well, Alan's going to be he's going to be useless. He's not going to be able to make anything because he always takes a long time to play." And Alan pretty well. When you talk to him, he just says, "I just like to play that way." Like he never ever had a problem with the clocks. They came in and he adjusted, and it wasn't even a problem. But some people just like that. Most people like to go a little quicker, especially skips, because you can freeze out there sometimes. Here's a real nice shot. Roll to the corner. Could go hit this, try to roll towards the center. Tyler Tardy giving him a broom. Tyler, a well-respected skipping junior for several years, and not that many years ago. So certainly knows how to maneuver the broom around and read ice and all that kind of stuff. He's anytime Canadian champion, world champion, and actually moved to men's, I think, with still 1 year of eligibility left in junior. So good shot for Kevin. We'll try to hit this and roll out. You play the whole end really for this situation, so you hate to kind of stick this one or anything like that and end up scoring one. Cinnamon going hard on it, and it will go out. So very nice shot. First end over, record time. We have a 0-0 game going to the second end here at the Saville Grand Prix.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice bat has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
What do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
We are back. For what we hope to be a little bit more entertainment this end, it was certainly a wide open affair in the first end. So it's certainly not an uncommon strategy in the first end, but you don't see it too much anymore, where teams basically both go up and down the sheet. Works good for teams sometimes when they're playing under clocks, if they're not a real fast team, to be able to save a little time early in the game. Brings it up for a little more conversation later on. So lead Max Cinnamon now. We threw up the center guard with Derek Martin. And Cinnamon will attempt to go around it. Looks like he might have been a little wide of the broom. Not quite sure where the broom was, but it looked like it was out there a bit. But it's starting to go hard now. Going to come right around. And he will. And step to the line. Very nice shot. We will now play the freeze. Once again, kind of standard fare as far as that goes. A strategy that gets played more often than not, where teams just go in and for about 2 or 3 shots, match up corner freezes. And then one team decides that they time to make a move. The angles are good for them, and you will see some rocks move around. Tyler Tardy go pretty hard on this. Carrick comes down to help him out. And a very strong sweeper. This was going to touch the guard, I think. And does. Not a bad spot for the Kui team, though. Without Hammer, they've got now 2 out front. Not movable yet, really. I guess one of them is technically movable, but one of them not on the center line. They could move that around, but there wouldn't be much advantage to that. So going right around again. We're currently 0-1 in this spiel. An 8-4 loss to Cole Adams of Calgary as well in his game this morning. And Kevin Cooley 1-0 after beating Zach Davies of Edmonton 9-1 in his first game. Both teams playing the second game. Format is a round robin, 4 pools of 4. And I haven't seen the playoff structure yet, so I'm not quite sure if it's 8 qualifiers. Usually is 8 qualifiers in this situation, so I'm guessing 8, but I don't really know for sure. Sometimes 6 is a number that they use. This one's a little heavy, quite a bit heavy. We'll slide to the back of the 12-foot. Not what he really wanted to do. Let's Kui kind of play the similar shot with Carrick Martin. He definitely doesn't want to be heavy on this. If you don't have Hammer, this is a good rock. If you're going to miss anything, miss this one short. Carrick with the out-turn draw. A little light on this one. Don't necessarily want to be quite that light, but might line up pretty good for him. Not too bad. There's only number 3. We're a long way to go yet. I'm just going to say Kenan because it doesn't have 2 E's on it. Usually that first name would be Kenan, but I'm not sure if it's supposed to be Kenan or Kenan. I'm going to go with Kenan. With out-turn draw. Coming from Michael Kenan. Interesting. We just discussed almost the same name for the first name. This one looks like it's probably a little light as well. Guys are going pretty hard on it. I think it's going to get... It might get in for number 2. Terrific sweep by the front end. They took that rock a long way. I really thought that rock was going to stop 4 feet short of the house. Probably thinking of my own sweeping, but... So Kevin figures he may be a bit trying to move things around a little bit. He doesn't like the way that's setting up. There's no real easy way to the center. Looking a little bit, playing an angle raise hit, maybe on the high yellow one. Make the double. Doesn't have hammer, so he's not real keen about just opening everything up, but this is a tough shot for Tyler Tardy. Looks like he should be close. Got to curl a little. Oh, so close. Missed it just by a hair. Just tough shot. Really tough shot, but Tyler almost pulled that one off. Gonna go right around again. Very nicely done. I think Cooey's going to have to run something back here. Those rocks are lined up pretty good. They're a little bit far apart, but they're lined up pretty good to get either shot rock, get the double, or shot rock at least, or very, very least second shot. No real easy way in. And Martin. Exactly what he wanted, but it kind of did the trick, to be honest. It took away his center guard, but he's got a pretty decent shot in there. Shot rock on the almost on the edge of the 4-foot. Wipf is going to play peel here, try to make kind of all of them, to be honest. It's a little bit high side on this one, and could drive it in and take the rock off the 8-foot. There's Stone Kai McCauley. And doesn't quite get what he wanted. Does open it up a little bit on the outside, but not exactly what he prefer. He doesn't like the numbers here. It's not so much he's got shot rock, but Wipf has second, third, and fourth shots. So Kevin's getting a little concerned that the big end could sneak up on him, and that does happen sometimes where you feel like you're pretty comfortable, and all of a sudden you look around like kind of ouch. We got a lot of rocks in there. And that works out quite nicely for Tyler. So all of a sudden now Wipf is looking at 2. Might have a little hard time getting the one in the 8-foot on the outside. He can hit it, but I don't know that's going to do him any good. So he's going to play the draw. Out turn draw. Try to get to the corner of the red, behind the corner guard, or sort of halfway corner guard here. We invented a name for that a couple weeks ago, but I can't remember what it was. So Kenan have been a real good one. Those guards that aren't quite corners, they aren't quite centers, but McCauley's going to try to make the outturn draw. Cinnamon just has sort of a heavy clean going on here. No real hard sweeping, just some pressure down the brush to make sure. Now we got a little bit of carving going on, trying to carve that rock in. It's going to be behind the red one, but he might be able to get it buried and be shot rock or close to shot rock. Yeah, not exactly what he wanted. Not terrible, but not exactly what he wanted. Well, an out turn here, probably some kind of down weight, probably like a board weight shot, I would imagine. Unless it really was sit right there, just because it's going to be a pretty good pocket for Whiff to use. Carrick going really hard here. That's quite a good shot. Behind the tee line, but we weren't going to be able to help that. We now sit in 3. A little bit of discussion, not so much about hitting this, but which way to roll. Also looking at drawing. Interesting to see what they decide. Pretty much covered every shot you could possibly cover here. He's talking about the outturn kind of corner freeze, the outturn coming around. Talked about the freeze to the back, one at the back of the forefoot, and also hitting the one at the back of the forefoot and rolling one way or the other. There's not much left to talk about. Yeah, I think he's decided on the outturn draw, kind of a come around. I'm just not sure if he's going above the red one or going below the red one, but I'm guessing above the red one. Not with that, you're not going to be shot rock, but you will at least be out of massive trouble that you're in right now. So an outturn here. They're going to have to go on this. This just looks light to me, but I might be wrong. It's a very good brush for the sweepers. He is only number 3, though. Number 3, but pretty unremovable, if you will, for a Kui. Can't really do much with it. Might just take the hole away here with a guard or semi-guard. Well, might be going to play this yet. So we'll let him decide, then we'll talk about it. No. Play outturn. Probably top, right around the top of the 12-foot somewhere. Make the small hole as small as you can make it. You can see Tyler just pointing it out right there. Thanks, Tyler. We'll make Wipf's next shot pretty difficult if you can put this in the right spot. There's just not going to be a lot of room. It'll get a little draining after a while playing so many events with just 3 players. Gooey's played a lot of events now with just the 3 players. And they're all tough events and it takes a lot out of you. Derek hammering this one pretty good. And end up just about perfect. Very nicely done. Nicely done in Kevin's part, nicely done in Carrick's part. There is a hole, but I tell you, it's not very big. The Wipf is going to give it a go. Doesn't have a lot of options. Every rock out front is the opposition color. Very small port to get through here. And if you don't get through it, you're probably giving up 2. And if you do get through it, you're probably scoring 1. So early in the game, but a pretty big shot for the Wipf team in particular, because they do have hammer. You definitely don't like giving up a steal, and you definitely don't like giving up a steal of 2. Sweepers again, just heavy clean. Now they're going. I think he's pretty close. You can't quite see the port yet, but he's really close. He sneaks it by that. That's a great shot. I'm sure they're going to hold it. What a terrific shot by Kenan Wipf. That's just a marvelous shot here in the second end. And Wipf will take a 1-0 lead over Kevin Cooey here at the Saville Grand Prix. And we'll be back after the break.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back. Curling Stadium in Edmonton, and more specifically, the Saville Grand Prix here at the Saville Centre in Edmonton, where we just saw Kenan Wipf make a tremendous draw against Kevin Cooey to avoid giving up 2 for starters, and in fact scoring 1. Terrific shot and terrific sweeping by the Wipf team, and they hold a 1-0 lead going to end number 3. In draw number 3 here at the Saville Centre. Tremendous facility. I've never been. Would love to be there sometime, but it looks like 10 sheets, and they hold a lot of great events. They also have a lot of teams that play out of here, or at least go here at times for training purposes and whatnot. I've seen countless teams that are spending time at the Saville Centre, even when they're not from Alberta or anywhere. So thanks to those also on the chat that are answering a couple of the questions regarding Solochinski. I don't have access to answering that. I do read the questions. If there's anything that you have that I can answer online if you ask. And in the meantime, thanks for talking to each other. Max Cinnamon, the lead for Team Wipf. So working hard to come around the center guard. Fair went up by Team Wipf, and Cooey sent up the corner. No surprise there. And we'll now ignore that one and go around the corner. The corner is a little high, but it's certainly usable. Carrick Martin will now try to do just that. Use this corner guard. Might be a little bit warm, maybe. Mother Tardy not really wanting to put a brush to it. Now he is a little bit to get it over behind the guard. And it's over there. Very nicely done, Carrick. Just perfect weight. Above the tee line. Fully buried. Swift's going to ignore that. Going to go around on the out turn, around the center guards. And this is second stone, Michael Kenan. This looks really good. That perfect line. And this will be fully buried. Yeah, another good shot. Swift team's got a handle on draw weight right now. You'll probably see Cooey go after the front here. All right, he's just going to play this one, play the double on the two that are in the house. Surprised they didn't actually take that one just a little bit further, but I don't know if it would have been any more benefit, to be honest. Eric Martin, as everybody knows, Eric has a pretty famous dad who's still pretty active and all manners of curling, and Tyler going hard to get this one by. He gets by, didn't quite get the double that he was looking for, but I'll tell you, that's a good effort. Part of Carrick all by his lonesome out there. Kenan again. Guys are working hard on this one too. Going flat out, trying to get this in on top of the Cooey stone. It's going to overcurl and be a little light. Not real helpful, to be honest. Just need a hair more weight. Line was perfect, as you can see. If you had added 4 or 5 feet of weight to that, or 5 or 6 feet of weight even, it would have been in a pretty nice spot. Tyler Tardy, left-hander. This is Tyler's out turn. Lots of rotation. Get a little extra rotation on it. Certainly makes a path run a little more true. Here's a very nice shot. Very good shot, but there is the double there. It's a little bit flat, but certainly makeable. And it's makeable without losing your back one. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them take a run at it. Well, looks like he's not going that way. Looks like he's going to try to play the hit and roll behind the center guard. Certainly puts him in a better position to score a point. Third stone, Kai McCauley. In an out turn, a little hit and flop. Just boardish kind of weight, or a little less than board, maybe even. Not going to get the curl, though. Really looking for the roll on that one. We trying basically the same shot. Tyler Turdy, left-handed. This will be his intern. Sometimes they say the intern does curl more. Certainly in my case, my intern curls a lot more, but whoa, Carrick just about goes on his face. Somehow managed to avoid hitting the stone, but not a good result. It was really scary, though. I almost did a little face plant. Had one of those once myself when I had a broom break. That was no fun, but that was many years ago. The Wipf looking to come around. Not totally sure who shot rather, but I think the yellow now at the back is shot. So he's going around the center guard on the out turn. On top of Carrick's just about falling, and that was it. Unfortunately, he didn't. Tyler didn't stay around on that. He had an opportunity there to be much better position than they are. Few rocks to come yet. It's got to curl a long ways. Starting to go now. Very nice finish. It's a nice finish. It's not crazy sharp. It's just a nice finish. When you throw it perfect weight, that's what you get, and that was perfect weight. The Wipf team has been bang on so far for draw weight for the most part. Kevin Cooey asking for somewhere around hack weight. Take the yellow one out. He wants to make sure that he can at least score here. Not really going to be any opportunity for a blank that I can see. Not going to be a change in call here. We'll play the run back. We'll try to get the one off the button as well on this shot. It's not just a straight peel. Dirty. We'll have a little weight on this one. And not going to quite get it, but does get rid of the guard. So 2 to come each here in the third end. Second game for both these teams in the round robin. In the round robin portion of the spiel. Throw the guard here. I do think they're sitting 2. I do think the second shot is also yellow. Kenan Wipf, skip of the Wipf team. Not the origin of his name, WIPF, certainly very different. The out turn, just a guard. Probably like to be a few feet in front of the house, but not too many. Just want to make sure the guy can't just come around and take you out. So it's going to be okay, I think. Just more than okay. I think that's just about perfect. It's one of those. They say carry it down and place it. Couldn't have placed it much better, I don't think. Just far enough to make the run back difficult. And close enough that just coming around and removing the Yellowstone is not easy. It might be possible, but it's not easy, and you can't really afford to go for it right now. Kenan Cooey, someone we've seen make hundreds of these over the last few years. Unless I'm not sure now. Maybe there's. Is he close? And got it. The good news, bad news. He got rid of both of them. It did stay, however, to make it not quite as good as it could have been, but heck of a shot by Cooey. Got the rock, the danger rock out of the way, and Wipf is going to play the out-turn draw. We got to make sure here. The key on this shot is just to make sure you get fully buried. If you're ever going to make a mistake, have it over curl a little bit rather than under curl. You don't want to leave it double. And make sure you sweepers and the person calling line in the house are both on the same page as far as where this rock has to be. One that if it's a little tiny bit heavy, we're better off to be behind the tee line than above the tee line by a little bit, just so Kevin's would have a hard time with a double. You know he can make doubles from anywhere though, so you want to be pretty precise on this if you possibly can. Out-turn guard. Out-turn draw, sorry, come around. Kenan Wipf. This one needs to curl as well. I'm going to make sure you don't leave it out a little bit. That's going to be really good. Great shot by Wipf. He's forced Kevin Cooey to play the draw for one, I think. I don't see any way for him to get two. So it's kind of just a draw, back of the button kind of draw to score one. About 2 feet of ice. I'll tell you that he's throwing just a little bit more than draw weight. Good ice. It has lots of curl, and you bring the weight up a little bit, you start to lose a little bit of the curl, which is normal. So this shot here, which I would expect that he would have played it with just really, back button kind of weight, back 4 foot maybe max, is significantly less ice than they took to draw to there. So without really being that much lighter. Kevin Cooey with Martin on the brush. Carrick starts going pretty early. No, just cleaning now. And switching sides. You better be careful. Last time we saw that, he almost did a face plant. This is really close. And did he hold on? And he did. There's a good shot by Kevin Cooey and good sweeping job by Carrick Martin to tie this game at 1 after 3 ends of play. We'll be back with you just in a minute.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
Yeah, very nice draw in the third end by Kevin Cooey has notched this game at 1 with Kenan Wipf from Calgary. Cooey now without hammer playing the fourth end in a 1-1 tie. So Carrick's rock is going to... Not sure yet. We will wait till we see it from the top. Oh, looks like it's going to be hit, so it would tell us that it's on the rings. Kenan Wipf's going to hit that. A lot of teams here might, in a 1-1 game in the fourth end, might think about a corner guard, throw something up in the corner, and maybe try to use that. There's not really a dangerous rock at this point, but Kenan would prefer to not take that approach. It's just not an end that you usually like to blank. Pretty sure that the next one that Carrick throws won't be in the house, so... And that one won't stay. Going to ask some Carrick to do a 1 foot or 2 feet better than this one. Make sure it doesn't go in the house. And this time he made sure he didn't go in. He holds the center line. He'd like to stay in contact with that center line. And he does. Now Wipf looking to go around that. Very nicely done. We're going to play the freeze. For those that may not know and may be interested in the Pan-Continental results, and if you are somebody recording that or paying for that somewhere and you don't want to hear this, just mute your button for a minute, because Brad Gushue certainly had a playoff that he wouldn't normally have, losing the semifinal to Japan, and in the bronze medal game was defeated by Schuster from the U.S. 10-8. So tough playoff for the Gushue squad. Doesn't affect them as far as getting in the Worlds, but would be rather disappointing, I'm sure. Wipf's going to play a little hit and roll. Looks like a board weight shot. Generally, when anybody taps the side boards like that, although some clubs don't have boards, they don't have anything. Some clubs just have a line down there. Should be the case in my club. Then usually when they tap the side of whatever's there, they're looking for a board weight shot. Working hard to make this one curl as hard as he can. And get over there. It's to the nose at least. Not a bad result. And Kevin Quaid touches that same board. Tyler Tardy with his first in the fourth. And you get a little roll on this one. Pretty nice shot by Tyler Tardy. Might see Wipf go after it. He seems to want to be a little bit defensive on this, but maybe not. Just shrug of the shoulders, saying to the guys, what do you like? No decision yet. As mentioned earlier, we don't have access to what's going on the ice for as far as the sound goes, or as far as the at least the communication goes on the teams. So we don't know exactly what they're saying. Just try to do it get as close as we can on situation and all of that. So now turn by second Michael Kenan. Sweeper's working hard on this one, right out of his hand. Can't imagine it's going to get there, and it does not. Can't be too happy with that shot. No, he didn't not make the shot he wanted. He wasn't even having enough to maybe rub off a little bit and guard the one in the house. So tough one for Kenan. Tardy will now try to probably make that same hit and roll. He could roll to the right as we look at it on the screen here, but without hammer, I think he would want to roll behind the center. Rick Martin. Tell Carrick, because Carrick sweeps with a slider on versus grippers. And not going to hold this one, I don't think. Well, yeah, did. Pretty good shot. Great shot, I should say. Really far beyond pretty good. So when Carrick has to change sides, it's just not quite as easy as it is for some guys that can bounce around back there that are wearing two grippers all the time. A little bit of discussion here, I think, about what happens to this rock, whether or not it gets dragged towards the center of their sheet or not. I think it would get dragged towards the middle, provided you hit it hard on the outside here. On the high side, I guess. We'll know in a minute. Got a curl. He hit enough. He didn't get by the guard. The high guard. Wow. That's not so good. Wipf has hammer, but he's going to need it by the look of it. He's going to be in a bit of a mess here. Cooey's already sitting two. One of them buried on the button. Going to throw another guard. About 3.5 feet of ice. Try with a little extension. Carrot just working on this one. Fading a little bit as he gets closer to the hog line. Can't blame him for that. That's a good shot by Tyler. Well, the Wipf team's going to have to make a good shot here somewhere. Whether it's a run back or a draw, whichever they decide to do, got to make it good. Well, he's going to play maybe that shot. You just have the middle red rock, so the one that's in the 8 foot. Yeah, just doing it again, showing you to remove that, roll over to the right. A really tough looking shot. And I'm not, well, if you make it right, I guess, and Cooey may go ahead and hit it. He could ignore it, just come right around again. Turn draw for Macaulay. Well, he's last rocking this in. Cinnamon. I think he's going to get by, but he might be in at least a good spot. Or maybe not. Got a real mess on his hands right now, does Kenan Wipf. I don't think Cooey would be looking to necessarily roll very much on the shot. There's enough room probably to roll inside. Just not positive he clears his top one. If he does, that would be a good shot. If he doesn't, that might not be such a good shot. He might set up a double one on the button. Kevin Cooey, no turn. I'm going pretty hard. Backed off now. He'll get the roll, but you can see he couldn't quite get under, but I don't know that it's and it would have been any better to be under. That's pretty darn good. Wipf's got to move some granite here, I think. Move a couple of rocks just by coming by the hard guard and the high guard on the intern side, but it's only going to be a couple, and I think you're going to be sitting number 3 when you're done. Just going to played his way into a bit of a mess here, I think. Not completely sure about the call. I feel like we'll have to wait to see how he comes out. If he comes out with a relatively smooth or even pace, then he's probably going after the middle one here. I don't know how much of a benefit that is, but that's what he'll be doing if he comes out a little harder and then he's playing the double on the 2 back ones, which would be at least better than what he has right now. He did move 2 of them. Didn't get 2 out, but he did move them and actually placed that rock in a pretty good spot. He now has an opportunity that no matter what Kevin does, he will have a out-turn draw to the 4-foot, or he'll have a little hit and flop off the red that's biting the 4-foot. Might not be a great situation. He might be facing 2 or 3 or 4 possibly, but at least he has something to work with now where a minute ago it didn't really look like he would have. Key moment in this game. Even though it's only the 4th end, it's a very significant time. Because if Cooey scores, he's probably scoring a bunch. And if Wipf scores, it'll got to feel really good to his team after really not being in good shape at all in this end.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those
Apologies, just realized my mic was muted. Thanks, Carol, for mentioning that. I know I hadn't fallen asleep, but it might have appeared that way for sure. But Kenan Wipf. And to hit and stay. Not going to get a lot of this. Good enough to remove it. Kevin Cooey now. Draw for 2. Thanks for the support, everyone. Kim Cooey for the chance to take the lead in this one. Oh, Tyler's already going out to help early. Guys are working this hard. They just have to get to the paint, though. So, yeah, good job by Carrick, and good job by Tyler. And Kevin Cooey picks up a deuce here in the 5th end. Take a 2-1 lead, or 3-2 lead, sorry, over Kenan Wipf in the Saville Grand Prix. We'll see you after the break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, you got it. Yellow.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Yeah, nice to be back in a couple of ways, really. We are going into the 6th end here. Kevin Cooey and Tyler Tardy and Carrick Martin lead this one 3-2, and kudos to those guys in the last end for moving those rocks around. They went a long way in that end to get their deuce, and really tough to not set up a double somewhere along the way, and they managed to do that. So good job by the Cooey squad and number 5. So Kenan Wipf now will look to try to get a deuce back for sure and definitely score. 6th end, I mean, a blank's okay, but you want to go pretty hard to get 2. So in doing that, you rarely get into a position of being able to blank the end. Corner guard going out for Wipf. Might be the first time I've seen them call the corner guard in this one. Good spot. I was going to play the intern come around. Like to be above the tee line. Derek Martin, just great control of the old draw weight in this game. This one over curls a hair, but still pretty nice place. See, Wipf's going to go behind the corner. This is just exactly the same as the last end, but just reversed. It's Cooey playing these shots last end. And Wipf playing the shots. Cooey's playing this end. Lead stone Max Cinnamon. Going hard for weight on this. They'd like it to curl another foot, but I don't know if they're going to get that. But you might get a little bit of that. Yeah, pretty good. Still a bit open, but got over there farther than I thought they might. Kevin talking hack or board weight, something like that. One of those two. Eric's going to try to remove that one. You can see probably half the stone from the far end. Tyler's going to try to make it work, make it curl in there. Might get close. Oh, well done. And another one hanging around the back of the house. We're just going to change it up. Going to go around the center guard. Still pretty early in the end. I don't think you have to be terribly worried yet, but at the same time, I think he's feeling like if he goes around the corner that Cooey may play some kind of a guard on there, which will make his scoring that much more difficult, and scoring two even more difficult. Second stone, Michael Kenan. Guys going hard once again. These guys have done a lot of sweeping in this game. Pretty close. Not quite where he wanted it, but not too bad. Like to have been a little bit closer to the red rock. Makes any kind of a slash or run back or anything like that. Makes it a little bit more possible to do if you're a little closer, but who we playing the corner freeze again? Derek Martin. Somebody else has done a lot of sweeping in this game. And this looks like just about perfect. Very nicely done by Tardy. With the approaching that part of the end where you got to really make shots, and you got to really know what your plan is here. Looking for T-line weight, just trying to move the red and the yellow a little bit and set something up. Might be too light on this. You got to make sure if he wants T-line weight, you got to have T-line weight just on its own here. You don't want to have to sweep for this T-line. Max Cinnamon, head down right from the start. This could be on the guard. No, he will sneak it by. It's exactly what they called. Very nicely done. Very good shot. Probably would have liked to roll another 2 inches, but still. We're looking to play the hit and roll. They're having a pretty good game so far. Derek Martin on the brush again. Trying to get it to curl. Should be able to get a piece. But a pretty big piece. And Kenan Wipf trying to get it out, and he will move it not out, but pretty well far enough, I think. Still needs to figure out how he's going to score here, though. Couple of options. Yeah, play a little tap on the yellow. Could play the out turn, hit on the red. Very dangerous. But if you ever make it, you might make the double. Probably set up a double as well is the only problem. So a little tap up for the Wipf squad. And for third stone, Kai McCauley. Sweepers with brooms down the whole way. And for a little bump here. Good shot. I'm impressed with how the Wipf team's playing without any real panic at this point. So kind of what you got to do. You can't get in a hurry. Hard to do sometimes, though. Kevin could play the double here. Have a little chat about it. Big decision. Certainly a very, very makeable double. Could also play the little hit and flop that he's indicated there. Tyler suggesting possibly a draw or all the way around everything. Probably an okay shot, but not one I think they're going to play. So many options to think about here, and so many options that you're going to leave your opposition is probably the bigger question right now. The sixth end here at the Saville Center. Edmonton, Alberta. Kevin Cooey asking Tyler Tardy to hit this yellow. And stay right there or just flop in a little tiny bit. Oh, he made the double. I didn't think he was playing the double. I knew the double was there. We talked about that. But I didn't actually think he was playing it. Great shot. Really nice shot. So the Wipf teams decided they need to chat a little bit about it. Getting late in the end is a problem. So what I'm sure Ken's worried about, if he comes down and draws to that, will he ever get a chance to do anything with it? And if the draw doesn't go perfectly, that could be very, very bad as well if you ever dropped it a little short or something like that. Also has, if you wanted to play it, I guess, the out turn double and just flop behind the corner a little, or behind the center guard a little bit. But problem with that, you're going to be number 2 and not probably going to come into play unless Kevin misses a relatively simple draw somewhere or a relatively simple hit. Looking for that same T-line weight. I think that's T-line. I'm not sure where he's standing, but it looks like T-line to me. T-line, especially given that he's only coming to the top one, so he wouldn't be looking for any more than that. It's getting more difficult here as the end goes on for Wipf to develop a 2. Definitely wants to keep the 1 alive, but he'd love to be able to get that deuce. Kai McCauley, third stone for Team Wipf. Guys are getting honored here. Go Kenan and Max Cinnamon. Kenan on the inside. It looks like it might be a little light. Ooh, that's not going to be good. Just a little light more than anything. Probably, actually, realistically, probably 6, 7, 8 feet light. To explain rubbing the guard. But definitely in some trouble here. He's got a couple options right now. He's going to lose one of those in a minute probably, but he does have the in-turn raise. Raise hit on his own, just beside the Remax Center. The logo. And let's see what Kevin Cooey does first. Then throw on the out turn. Eric Martin having to go hard again. This could be interesting what the angles line up like. Well, at this point, certainly Wipf is looking at playing for 1, to be honest. Pretty near impossible to imagine where he could get 2. This is the one we talked about a minute ago, but that is very, very, very hard. And a little bit harder now, too, because the red rock that's in the 12-foot just about biting the 8-foot on the top there moved up a little bit. So that raise, that run back is much harder. I think anyways. I have no idea what they're playing. Let's see what turn he's throwing here. I think if he's going out turn, he's playing the raise on the yellow. But if he goes on the out turn, he'll get the reverse turn on the raised rock, so it'll actually be going the direction he wants it to go for the most part. But really, really tough. He is going out turn, so I assume that's what he's playing, is that raise. Well, he needs to have backline weight almost to make this. Man, it's got to curl a ton. Cinnamon holding it straight. It's going to be really close. Really close. Wow, what a shot. A great shot by Kenan Whiff. Tremendous shot. Might have left just enough of a hole to fit through there, but I'll tell you, it's a small hole. And that was a terrific shot. Raise that to there with just having to have dead perfect weight. Wow. So I'm not sure what Kui's going to do here, to be honest. He doesn't want to really... Problem with going through the hole is he doesn't probably want to open that up any more than he has to if he doesn't get through the hole. Just so that he makes sure that Wipf doesn't get two. I'm not sure if those on the right-hand side on the overhead shot, it looks like the two reds on the left-hand side of the sheet as we look at it here, and right-hand side of the sheet on the long view might line up on the yellow in the sense that you can make it disappear at least. And he's going to play something from the front. So it's going to be not straight back, it's a slight angle on this center guard onto the yellow. He makes it, but we'll have a little hard time. He's probably not playing the same shot again. That's an unlikely shot to make, that shot. He might have to play an out-turn draw in there and try to have it hold enough of the forefoot, but I don't know if it will. And Kevin Kui being a 12 or 15 foot run back here. I think it's well, we won't like the result of that, only because he's just opened up the whole side of the forefoot, which was not accessible a minute ago. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when I had given up on any possible deuce for the Wipf team, they have a draw for two. Not an easy draw. He has to get full forefoot and definitely can't curl too much. You definitely don't want to touch that red one. But what an opportunity for Kenan Wipf and his squad to kind of pull a rabbit out of a hat here and get a couple. So we give him a lot of kudos for being patient in that end. Certainly was that. Not sure 3 shots ago he would have thought he had a draw to the forefoot for two, but he'll take it. He deserved it after his first shot, really. He's on its way. Reapers are starting to go. Cinnamon on the right. Kenan on the left. It's going to be in the neighborhood. Guys are going hard. This is going to be really close. They didn't get there. Oh, unfortunate. Good effort by the sweepers. They just couldn't drag it there. But at the end of the day, 1 point was pretty big for the Wipf team there after all the trouble they were in during that whole end. So we now have a tie after 6 ends of play. Wipf and Kui tied at 3. We'll join you after the break.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Well, welcome back. We have a real barn burner going here between Kevin Cooey and Kenan Wipf, tied at 3. Playing end number 7. It's been a great game. There's been a lot of tremendous shots and been some real excitement in these last few ends. Wipf probably a little disappointed he didn't get 2 in the last end, but holy cow, it was a great one. I don't know if you should say barn burner out here in the Western country, but it's all done. Been a tight affair. Let's put it that way. He goes around the center guard. Wipf's going to follow him down. Eric Martin has pretty much placed those first few rocks wherever he wanted all day long. Like to be maybe a foot wider than that one, just to give yourself a little bit of room to work, but it's good. Max Cinnamon with his second in this end. Wipf would really like to force Cooey to take 1 here. That will be a challenge. Just a guard. I guess I thought he was going right on top, but pretty good setup. Both rocks touching the center line. So he really can't be moved. The tight one is close, but I'm pretty sure it's touching the line. We'll ask Carrick to come around again on the out turn this time. Comes to help Tyler a little bit on the brush. Now he might not have needed to. Getting late in the game, so definitely want to help out if you need to. This looks like a good shot. Perfect. So a great setup to this end for Kevin Cooey already. And we're playing the freeze to the back one, and plan B would be a freeze to the front one. If you have a slightly lighter, if it overcurls a little bit, that would not be a bad plan B. Almost like a plan A and A1 kind of thing, not so much plan B. Hey, sweepers on both teams are earning their money in this game. They've gone steady. That wasn't plan A or B. But it does leave Cooey with having to think about this a little bit. He's not, even though he's sitting 2 and one of them buried, both of them buried, but one of them's buried on the top of the button. He's not really sure that he wants to play this kind of an end. So I can see now he's going to go out and probably try to make a double peel here. Not really too concerned if he opens up his or not. He doesn't want to be forced to 1 here. That's the thing. Definitely doesn't want to be forced to 1. Well, Carrick Martin, who probably doesn't play very many of these shots in the regular regular season. He's generally a lead stone, and they would throw very few peels. But a great job, especially for someone that doesn't throw many. He certainly threw a good one there. See Tyler with the broom up, steady. That was a nice job by Carrick Martin. Tyler's even got the big smile going on. So again, Carrick Martin, normally a lead, doesn't throw a whole lot of those double peels. And if they do, they're usually would almost have to be on his own rocks most of the time. Playing the run back for Wipf. He wants to make sure he forces Cooey, or tries to force Cooey, but he doesn't want to force him into two, as they say. He'd like to make sure that he holds him to one. This one's got to curl a ton or it's going to roll out. That's a nice shot, too. They'd probably rather not. Well, it's not really behind the guard either. It's certainly open on this side. Cooey's got a chance to hit and sit three, though. We watched him do this a couple ends ago when he got his deuce, where really they put every rock in the perfect position, whether drawing it or hitting it. Cooey's going to go after the corner. Now they're tardy. Trying to match Carrick Martin's last shot. And it's gone. Might open up an opportunity for a Wipf to force Kevin a little bit, though. Play a draw down to this one. Could remove it if he wanted to. He could remove it on maybe either turn, but certainly on the in turn, although I don't know that they've been out there a lot, so might not know where to put the room. But red is sitting one. Kai McCauley's first rock here in the 8th end, or 7th end, rather, sorry. 8th end, yeah. Perfect shot. Interesting decision by Cooey on the last one here in the 7th. It's to decide to peel the guard, and knowing that Wipf had a chance to maybe set up a crosshouse double at best for Cooey. So ripping the corner again, or the guard again at least. Well, that's fine. It did the job that Kevin wanted it to do. Wipf with a chance to 3 rocks to come to force Cooey to his one if they can make 3 perfect shots here, but you know how well Kevin makes doubles, so you got to make sure that you end up in the right place with all 3 of these last 3 shots. Max Cinnamon going hard in the brush, trying to roll this off to the side. Probably makeable double. Pretty flat, but it's probably there if you want to try to throw it. Kevin looking for just a nose hit. Not quite sure on what the weight call is here. It looked like it was going to be just board weight, bumper weight, whichever way you want to call it. It might be what it is. Eric's called on hard. Just snuck it by the red at the back. There's a big difference to not getting that out, actually. If he ever had picked that out, never mind whether or not he left his own, then he would have taken a little bit of the heat off and Wipf. But really, he's kind of all in now to force anyways, I think. And his problem is Kevin Cooey is the guy who's going to be throwing the next one, and he's made a career of making doubles from everywhere. Doesn't really help much to try to play something that limits the damage to 2 because, well, you can certainly score 2 coming home. I'm sure that the analytics would tell you that you don't win too many games if you're down 2 with playing the last end. Double would be fairly steep for Cooey if he was to be able to hit this and stay or hit and roll even a little bit towards the center line. Would make the double quite steep. On its way. Yeah, good shot. A little unlucky not to get it out, but this is a very difficult double now for Cooey. I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't want him to have this shot to beat me in the final end because I would feel pretty sure he's going to make it. It didn't really indicate to us what he was playing here, but I have to believe, I think he'd be playing the thin double. Doesn't have to. Hit it right on the nose. Wouldn't be bad. Because then if Wipf hits it on the nose, he has to roll a bit to make sure he doesn't give up a 3. Couple big shots coming here. There's only 3 to come. Or, 4 to come, I guess, counting this one. No, just swing. Okay. There's the double, but there's the jam. I think we saw Kevin tapped over there to indicate that might happen. Big break for Ken. 4 to come, I guess, counting this one. No, just swing. Okay. There's the double, but there's the jam. I think we saw Kevin. I think if I'm with, I'm going to try to keep this as far away from my other one as I can. That's a very good shot by Kevin, but still might end up being a 4-1. Looking at a couple options. You can draw the side there. You can also, he indicated at one point possibly drawing to that back red. That's tough in the sense that if you're going to throw enough weight to get to that back red one, the double's still probably going to be there. And if you ever underthrow or overthrow, it might turn into a 3. So there's a draw to the tee line. A big draw. And really, it's really important that you get this one on the tee line or just behind the tee line, I guess, would be perfect. Because there's not much doubt that Kevin would take a run at it if there's any possibility, because he has a chance for 3. And really what you're risking is giving up 1 and being down 1 with coming home. And I think most of the teams here would take that, especially if it came to the decision on risk and reward for the double attempt. Sweeper's going on this pretty hard early. Eric Martin had a stopwatch out to see what he thought. They've got to go hard. Not going to get there. That's a big, big miss by Kenan Wipf. And missed it by a lot. So Kevin Cooey with an open hit for 3. Sometimes you wonder if people just take too long to talk about shots, you know. I don't know for sure if that was any factor, but they took a long time just to call what, to me, was a pretty easy call. Like, I mean, I don't know where else you would ever go other than just split the house there, and probably just overthought it a little bit. And then obviously underthrew it a little bit. So too bad. He's had good draw weight all day. He made some really nice draws. And missed one that was like so close. It was good, but it's Kevin Cooey with an open hit to secure a 3 here in the 7th end. Just nice, easy weight. And Kevin will hit and stay. And Cooey will pick up 3. We're going to have a quick look at that, but there's no question it's in. So pick up a 3 here in the 7th and take a 6-3 lead into the 8th and probably final end of this game between Cooey and Wipf. We'll be back with you in just a minute.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts charity bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
As we go to the 8th end here, we find Kenan Wipf down 3 to Kevin Cooey. Very unexpectedly, really, in the last end when Wipf came up short on his draw and just left the open hit for Cooey. Before we go too far, I remind everybody we're going to be here all weekend with coverage all across the sheets. And be sure to join us. Be sure to check us out at Curling Stadium, Edmonton, and like and subscribe on YouTube. It's all very important to us as we endeavor to bring you more and more curling throughout the season. It's been a busy time here at the Saville Center. Obviously with 16 men's teams, 22 women's teams in this event. Go pretty much flat out all day long. And for now, Wipf looking at a corner guard. He's going to need a couple of those. Need to make 8 perfect shots here to have any kind of chance at scoring 3. I feel a bit for the boys. It was a great game right up until that last shot. Sometimes the numbers on the board really lie as to what kind of game it really was. So Eric Martin be asked to throw another one in on top of the one in the house. Thanks to everybody who's watched this game today. We've had a pretty good crowd. And thanks to everybody on the chat that was filling the gaps that I wasn't able to fill. And for sort of reminding me that my mute button was on for about half an hour. You're not to let that happen again. So another corner guard call by Wipf. Three is always tough. It certainly happens. We certainly see it even in the in the biggest events, which this would be one of them, you do see those things happen. You just got to hang in and concentrate on making every shot perfect. And you need a little bit of luck along the way. You want to go in and a bit of a miss for sure. That's, that sweeper's just kind of overswept that one. Unfortunate. Sometimes it's a little tough to hold your focus in these kinds of situations, and I think that's really what that is, because it really is a big miss. Can't really stress that sweeping that into the rings was not beneficial. Yeah, Martin, no trouble removing that one. Now at a point when Kui can also remove the corner guards should he choose. And pretty sure he will. The only good thing here at all, if there is in the center of the house, is that with the stagger and the rocks, you can play the shot that we've seen a number of times over the years, and that's come around those two that are in the house. Go to the back of the 8-foot, back of the 12-foot if you need to bury one and have those rocks serve as guards. But every now and then that will work out. Going hard here. Just looking for a guard again. That's a better effort. Kevin Cooley removing the high guard. Tyler Tardy not going to be light on that one. Good throw. And Carrick gets the other one out. Might as well. You can check all the scores on Curling Zone. Right up to date. And great spot to check that out. All men's and women's games are on there. So the outturn corner guard again, or come around the corner guard, one of the two. I'm not sure which he's playing, but we'll see. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the luxury of throwing many more out front, so I figured he's probably going in on this one. Needs to bury. Not going to get buried. I probably won't have much trouble with this. Moves the heavyweight pretty firmly, pretty straight, and removes that yellow. Oh. Don't need to make them all count yet, but got to get pretty close. It's 4 to go. Here's Stone Kai McCauley going to try to get around that corner. They're getting around it okay, but they've just been getting around it by a little bit too much and leaving these shots pretty much open. Max Cinnamon rarely has his broom off the ice. If the other guy doesn't have his on the ice, then Max does. Pretty much all the way down the sheet. It's not a bad idea. There's a better shot. Nice draw around the guard by McCauley. Kevin will rip that off. And no problem for Tyler Chardy. With calling the freeze on the top one, I actually personally prefer going around it to freezing to it, but you're going to need a little luck somewhere here, so you can get it on that one just as easy as get it on the other one. Paulie playing the freeze to the top right. Nice shot. The problem with it is very removable. Something was going to be open, though, so I just figured if you went around that one, Kevin probably hits the open one, go around it again, and all of a sudden you have two of them behind guards, even though there's a bunch of red ones in front. I think Kevin will be light on this one. I mean, Derek might get away without having to sweep real hard for a change. All right, I guess I was wrong. He's getting to go pretty hard as it is. But he gets it. Going to go to the same spot. This doesn't really matter now because you only have, there's no doubt that Kevin's going to hit the open one, wherever the open one is. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the one just to the left of the broom head as we look at it down the sheet. It's like, was it going to be able to get that one there? No. So second shot in a row. Kenan Wipf comes up light. And they're going, Kevin's going to throw his last shot here, but I guess he has to, because if he doesn't, Wipf could play the run back on the yellow onto the reds and somehow get his other one on the circles. I don't know. But anyway, disappointing loss for the Wipf team, no question. Kenan Wipf with an out-turn hit. And he will secure a victory with this. This makes contact. So Kevin Wipf wins this one 6-3. Will improve to 2-0 on the weekend so far. Kenan Wipf drops, and a tough luck loss for them. Dropped to 0-2. And it's been a great game. Thanks everybody for joining us. Again, encourage you to subscribe and like us on YouTube. And we will see you again later on this evening for one final draw. This is Jim Nix saying goodbye for now.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.